But that was one of the things that all the Malenkos really were good at, was just having that timing of when to do things and how things should go, and and that's why Dean's still an agent today.
Yeah.
He's just the family just had a great mind for the business. So we're looking forward to having Joe Malenko joining us on the show. I wish the Malenkos were running WWE right now.
Oh yeah.
Why is that, Mark? What are you upset about today?
More?
Just wondering.
Yeah, we got more.
We got more. We got more.
All
Excellent.
right.
Excellent.
We had the WWE Draft, which we touched on. The start of the draft began on SmackDown this week. That'll be concluding on Monday. Of course, you can only pick half of the roster. They split it up, so the picks go on Friday on SmackDown, and the other half of the gang gets to go on Raw on Monday. We have no idea who was behind these picks. They were just doors with labels. So no real clue of who was behind this debauchery that was the WWE Draft. But guys,
why do you say? Why are you so against it? I mean, yeah, why are you so against it?
Because it doesn't work. Look what happened. Look what happened when you just put your best people out there. Ratings went through the roof. Mm-hmm. Plus, all you're doing in a lot of circumstances is creating situations that are complicated and messy. Like, remember when Becky and Charlotte had to switch the titles?
Yes.
And that turned into a monster fiasco.
Right. And
you just create booking messes when you do it. Why, if you want to have this person wrestle this person, then just do it. Somebody shows up on, been wrestling on SmackDown, they show up on Raw, and you challenge somebody, and it's no big deal.
See, I think it works better if they take both companies and the talent stays on that show, and they don't cross over, if that's how you're going to do it with the draft. I think if you're going to have them just wrestle on opposite shows, then you might as well not even go with the charade that they're separate promotions, so to speak, with and separate GMs and stuff, because it's baloney.
Yeah, and I just think it's silly. Well, yeah. So they've managed to create some more interesting little situations with day one of this draft. I'm going to start at the bottom of
Where
people.
Where did Cody go? Just kidding.
Cody went to Raw. Roman went to SmackDown.
Uh-oh.
Here's problem number one.
Let's go.
You've got the Nigerian Giant, the man who just wrestled Brock Lesnar. Can I say it? Brock Lesnar.
Close.
All right.
Close.
He's wrestling Seth Rollins at Backlash. Wouldn't you think that somebody might want him? I mean, seriously. Wouldn't you draft him?
Oh, of course.
Of course you would. No, you wouldn't. Because not only on the show on SmackDown, but the supplemental Saturday draft, he was not selected.
Well, was it not? I heard that MVP negotiated to have him be a free agent. Who are we talking about? Brock Lesnar? I was
almost.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard
MVP
I heard this was a calculated negotiation by MVP.
That's what I've heard
strategic.
Too. Yeah, okay.
It's not that nobody wanted this guy. This guy is a giant, man. Everybody wants him.
He's just up in raising the market value instead of being drafted.
Yeah.
So
go to the highest bidder.
So then we see Shawn Michaels on the draft.
Right.
Lose his smile. Because not only did they take the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, but they also took the NXT Women's Champion and pulled them up to the main roster. So his women's division has now been decimated. But of course they're going to, they've got the roster changes take place after Backlash. So now they're going to have a match, and they're going to beat the Tag Team Champions, who you just called up to the main roster this week, it looks like, and send them up to SmackDown with a loss.
Well,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It could put more eyes on NXT, right? Have them going back and forth. Nobody said they can't do that. So, I mean, that would be innovative, I think.
Asuka didn't lose the NXT title before she went up to the main roster.
Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. But a lot of times they've beaten the champs before they go up.
For sure. And it makes it really predictable.
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Here was another one, and sorry, I'm going down through my list.
Yeah.
Oh, Bianca Belair.
Yes, sir.
Bianca Belair, the long-reigning Raw Women's Champion, gets drafted to SmackDown. So now you've taken your Raw Women's Champion and you're going to ship her over to SmackDown. Why? I don't know.
Fox?
Maybe.
I mean, that to me that was the first thing that crossed my mind.
I get it, but if you were going to do that, then why didn't you take the belt off her and then let her go to SmackDown and win the title there? So now she's going to have to, we'll probably have to do a title switch. We also had the fun situation where we have Roman Reigns was drafted over to SmackDown. Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman are going with him. They said Bloodline's getting drafted over there. But the Usos aren't going.
Right.
They're not part of this. Why would? But you have groups like the OC. They're all together. They got drafted in one pile.
Well, I think maybe. Oh, go ahead.
And the Viking Raiders, they all get this in Valhalla. They get to stay together. Imperium's getting to stay together. But for now, you split the bloodline. Why is it that one group gets drafted together, but the other group doesn't get drafted together?
Well, you got an advocate by the name of Paul Heyman, who, like, you got to have representation on both brands, right? So I think that's a good move.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to take over the business,
and I think it's kind of like, in my opinion, with the Cody Roman thing. Kind of cool off the bloodline a little bit. Like, it doesn't, let it kind of, before you're tired of it, you cool it off before everybody's sick of it. And then no one wants to see it. At least that's my opinion. And I think that's kind of what you're doing here.
Maybe my opinion is just if you're going to draft some people as groups, right? Then keep drafting as groups.
Right.
Don't say, well, this group we can draft, but this group you can't.
Well, I would understand your frustration if Jimmy and Jay had been drafted to different shows. That would have been strange.
Yeah, so we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But I just, like I said, this whole week on WWE has just made no sense to me, and I'm hoping that I'm just one of those people that I kind of like a logic in a story from start to finish. And when I see things that just look like Vince McMahon is throwing stuff around in a hat, and he and Pritchard are just like, hey, it's the dartboard again. I called last year on the show, I called it the dartboard. What are we going to do this week?
Right. What was that? What was that sound effect? Oh,
yeah,
dartboard.
Let's hear that again.
You're sick,
I could go with the ka-thunk, 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 too.
There we go.
One of the two.
All right.
But what I just am not. I'm going to try and be patient, but I'm just not seeing what they're doing.